Welcome to The Art of Being Unstoppable, the podcast where we will go beyond the ordinary and embrace the extraordinary. Be part of down-to-earth, no BS conversations where we will explore hot topics on love and money, relationships and business, beauty, and who we get to be with all that shit in between. With our insights and your actions, let's be unstoppable together. Let's go.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Art of Being Unstoppable. Tina and I weren't going to record a couple of episodes today, but we started to talk and we were like, oh yeah, we need to record this, as we always do. So, we were talking about right and wrong, and did it happen because it was supposed to? Didn't it? Was that person right? Was that person wrong? Or was it just setting us up for something bigger? So, I'd like you, Tina, to kind of, let's get into this a little bit, give it a little bit of a story behind why we're talking about this.
Yeah.
We're not calling anybody out. We're just kind of saying, this has happened to myself and my children, but I believe that by you saying the last line that you said to me, if I wasn't a coach, this would have been so different for my daughter.
Yeah, so my daughter has been playing travel volleyball for 5 years. Loves travel volleyball, loves her coaches, loves her team. This is her 18U year, her last year of playing volleyball. And she had her first practice yesterday, and she came back and I picked her up and she said, I don't want to play volleyball. And I said, what? And she started telling me, I played with all of my friends last year, and this year my friends aren't on the team, and I'm playing at the university with my friends, and it's really fun. And I just lost the joy of playing volleyball, travel. She said, I'm thinking about all the tournaments and all the time and all the practices. I would rather put my focus and energy someplace else, but this doesn't light me up. And I said to her, she said, I feel really guilty about that. I feel embarrassed and all of this stuff. And I said, listen, you're not your thoughts. You're not your feelings. And you're allowed to feel however you feel. I said, are you open to an insight? Like how I deal with tough decisions like this? And she said, yes. And I said, you choose not to play volleyball because you choose not to play volleyball. That's it. You don't have to justify. You don't have to rationalize. You don't have to explain yourself. You quit because you quit. And we have been programmed to believe that we need to justify our actions and we need a reason and we need an excuse, when really that's the difference between a decision and a choice.
Yes.
A decision is, oh, I already paid my fees, and what's the impact on the team, and and thinking about the future and all the time and the commitment and all of that stuff, right? And decision literally means to cut off. Cut off. When we make decisions, we're cutting off possibilities.
Yeah.
Well, if I do this, then I won't be able to do this, and And sometimes what people do is they take the path of least resistance. What's going to be the most comfortable choice here?
Yeah. I was just going to say that, the most comfortable. Yep. Because do you remember when I made that choice to leave working at Venus Beauty Supply? I was between a rock and a hard place. It was the first time I'd ever worked for a company, right? Like a company. I worked for myself. I had a salon. This was the first time. So I had benefits. I had things that I never had before. But when my parents passed, I was so busy and I had so much work to do. I couldn't possibly do both. So I asked you, like, I don't know what to do. What do I do? What do I do? And you said, Vicky, what do you want to do? Well,
Yeah, choose.
I got to choose. I choose to put my energy into what I get to do that I feel if I don't do, I needed to do it for me. And I didn't need to have a reason why. So when I did
Yeah,
give
I
my
said, do you
notice,
want to
it was,
quit?
yeah, do you want to
Yeah,
quit?
I asked Vicky. I said, Vicky, do you want to work at Venus or not? And you said no. Well, because of this. I'm like, do you want to work at Venus or not? And you said, no, I don't. I'm like, great, choose it.
And I
I
did.
choose to leave Venus because I choose to leave Venus.
But I never knew that I was how old? That was, I mean, oh my goodness, 4 years ago, so I would have been 50 something years old. I never knew that before. That's what I'm trying to say with when I introduced this and said, like, if you weren't a coach, how your daughter would have had to perceive that in a totally different way because you got to put it as a choice. She got to choose. She
Well,
got to
and it
stand in
was
her
really
choice, Tina. She got to stand in it, and you allowed her to do that without any inhibitions, without any explanations. You just got allowed her to make her choice.
and the beautiful thing is, and this is why I say there are no coincidences
Yeah.
and everything is part of the process. You can't see it, but I'm seeing these situations unfold and I'm sharing with you guys because I'm seeing it. So I feel like I have an obligation to share
Yeah.
because this was the first year that the team had extra money. This is the first year that they had a practice player, somebody who is so committed. So she's a cheerleader. They can only take 12 people on the team, but this year one girl just stood out and she gave her heart and soul and she was like committed and she just like there was something about her that the coaches were like, we can't have you on the team, but we want to invite you to be a practice player. Practice with us, be part of the team. But when it comes to tournaments and stuff, you can't play, but you can be with us. And my daughter said, why should I take up a spot when I don't want to be there, when somebody is committed and loves being part of something bigger?
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
like, so it was, everything was kind of laid out for her to, you know, just
Yeah.
choose. Like, she
Choose.
saw the whole big picture. You know, what are the odds of having a practice player? What are the odds of her playing Mackie's position? It was perfect. So then the other thing that happened, and this is, guys, listen, I am not throwing shade. There's an intention, and I don't want a lynch mob or that's not right. Or I live in a reality where things are not right, things are not wrong, everything is good. It's coming from the creator and it's here to teach us a lesson. So last week there was a fit test and my daughter did push ups. Now, she got a lot of push ups in. And when her coach saw her fit test results, you know, he, I'm sure it was joking, basically said, we got to do this again because, um, you know, some people were lying or cheating, however he positioned it. Her experience of it was, you're a liar, you're a cheater. That's not the truth. But her experience was
Yeah.
because he said her name, Mackie. So what she heard, he was probably joking, said, we got to do it again, probably because they weren't getting the technique right. It wasn't an
Yeah.
accurate reflection. His intentions were not bad, but how she interpreted it was, I got called out. Her story was, I got called out. I got called a liar. I got called a cheater, and I had to do it again in front of everybody. So she felt humiliated. She felt embarrassed. She felt disrespected. None of those things were real, okay? This is what I want people to understand. This was her experience. This was her reality. But I'm sure her coach had a different reality. There was
Oh,
something,
for sure.
because he would
Oh, yeah.
never, this
Yeah.
coach is amazing. He loves the girls. He would never do anything to make anybody feel that way. I want that really to be front and center here. So she was crying. She was upset after the fact. It had nothing to do with her wanting to quit her volleyball team. It was something isolated. But I remember like her dad was saying, that's not right, that's wrong, coach shouldn't do that. And this is what we do in the world, in the
Yep.
reality
Mhm.
of, we got to make somebody a victim,
Make
somebody a
somebody wrong.
villain.
Yeah.
So make somebody wrong. And all I said to her, Mackie, I'm going to share something. You're going into sports journalism. You're about to enter into a male-dominated profession. There are going to be people that are going to say things like, you slept your way to the top. you're not qualified, you're not good enough, you're not doing it right, you're probably going to break the mold someplace. And this is preparing you to deal with that. I felt it so strongly in my intuition. I said, what do you think your lesson is? And she said, well, normally I don't speak up for myself. Maybe I can just share how I felt. I said, great. What else? She said, maybe me speaking up and sharing how I felt will give others the courage to speak up if they feel like something doesn't work for them.
Mhm.
And then she started seeing possibilities where none existed before, right? Because she saw everything is good. It's coming from the creator and it's here to teach me something. I said, this is what expansion feels like. It feels raw. It feels vulnerable. It feels like you're being called out. You're just expanding. And this is what we don't talk about with our kids because we
Mhm.
don't have the tools and strategies. And that's why
Yeah.
I said it might have been different because there is a moment in our lives. And it's usually around this age,
Mhm.
17, 18 years old, where you know you're all alone. And this could have been her defining moment that shifted her identity. She could make an agreement. Is it
Yep.
true that I'm a liar and I'm a cheater?
Mhm.
She could hang on to that. She
Mhm.
could overcompensate and never lie and live life in like, I got to be fully honest. I don't know how it could have played out for her, but as human beings, we all have these moments in our life that define
Mhm.
us. She took her coach from the top of the pedestal. Her coach was God. Literally in her mind, there was no greater human in the world than her
Yep.
coach. She said, I lost all respect for him. Like the pedestal broke. And I know because I'm trained in this to see this is a shattered ideal. This is another story that we all have
Mhm.
where
Mhm.
somebody does something and then we make a decision about them, but not just them. We make a decision about humanity in that moment.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
shatter the ideal. We look for evidence that it's true. We create these filters. But in that moment, I stopped that process from happening because I'm trained, thank God.
Exactly,
But
and
we
that's
do
why
have
I
these
set this
moments.
up. Exactly, I set that up for that because, Tina, it's not about us knowing more or doing more because we're coaches. It's about you being aware that happened and now you get to share. And you get to share the reasons why. And that's why we do this podcast so we can share. And you, yes, making sure that that coach knows it isn't a personal thing. This isn't about him. It's about an experience that your daughter had and how things could have been this way, this, there's so many ways it could have went. But you allowed her to experience her experience and then explain to her why, if it's coming from from the creator and it's coming from a place of love, all of these things are lessons and it doesn't have to be right or wrong. And she gets to take that at her age, like she's a young beautiful girl and going into this male dominant world that she's going to live and work in and create in. This catapulted her because she gets it, because you got to share that with her,
And
and hopefully anyone
and
listening
not
in
only
this
that,
place. Yeah.
not only that, she she asked me, well, what do I do now? And I said, what do you want to do now? And she said, well, I want to talk to him. I want to be the one to share. I'm like, great. When? Right? There's only power in
Mhm.
now. Last episode, we talked about power of now. I said, my recommendation would be you send him a message and say, I'd really like to talk to you about something. When's a good time for you? And so that's what she did. Hey, I'd really like to talk to you. I want to
Mhm.
call you. When's a good time? And he said 12:30. She's like, "Great, I'll call you at 12:30." And she picked up the phone and she didn't blame him. She didn't make him wrong. She just expressed, I felt when this happened, this is how I felt. And I know that this is my interpretation, not your intention, but I wanted to share that this is how I felt. and this is how I'm processing it. You know, she had this adult conversation, not blaming, not making him wrong. Now, the beauty in that is he gets to see the other side, somebody else's view.
Mhm.
And 3 podcasts ago, we talked about views. I have a view, you have a view.
Yeah.
But this is how we can dance in a conversation. This is how our sharing can shift people in profound ways. And this is why sharing is so valuable, because when we don't withhold our communication, when we share from a loving place, she loves him, she forgives him.
Yeah.
She, you know, the intention is love. How do we bring unity to this conversation? How do my feelings get acknowledged, but your experience get acknowledged too? How do
Mhm.
we get this complete so we don't have to add the filters in life that we carry with us for life? And this is what communication is, the foundation of living, but we're not trained on how to talk or how to communicate from
Yeah.
a loving, empowered place. And it starts, if you're listening to this message right now, if you are still listening, it's not by chance, it's not by coincidence.
No.
You're supposed to hear this message today. There is something in this for you. And everything that comes into your awareness, it's not coincidental. It's divine. It's put on your path to teach you something. So I feel that what happened yesterday, what happened after, what happened today, it's all part of the grand plan, the grand scheme. You know, it's like
Yeah.
we're watching a movie play out.
Mhm.
You know, our life is like a movie. And I do feel that there's characters and there's plots, and
Mhm.
it's all planned out. These people come into our movie. It's like the hero's journey.
Yeah.
These people come into our movie to help us build ourselves. Guides come in, all of these things, but the destination is always the greatest outcome possible. We got to trust that God, source, creator, universe, whatever you believe in, the powers to be are helping us on our journey to have the best possible outcome. Now, whether you want that story to like be the movie to complete in this lifetime or to be continued, the second, part 2, part 3, part 4,
Yeah.
I truly believe, you know, when we don't listen and we don't learn the lesson. I think of those scary movies, you know, like Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
There's like 8 of them. When are they going to learn? Don't go to the sleepaway camp. You know, it's like, really? You're going to the same sleepaway
Oh, yeah.
camp again?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
no. You know, we don't. We got to keep
No.
learning the lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. That's funny.
You
Uh,
know,
when you said that too about
but yeah, our
the lessons and when they're so loud and we don't allow ourselves to hear them and we just keep thinking, "Oh, no, no. No, no, no." It's going to repeat itself. It's going to repeat itself. And it's come up for me a lot. Again, like whether you believe or don't believe, I've had readings done, and every time I do, one of the people in my reading or in my um whatever I have done, I've had Reiki, I've had all kinds of things, but my one person that keeps coming back is my ex-husband who passed away. And I keep thinking, why is he in my still in my life? And it's because he's here to teach me something and I didn't learn it when he was here. And I truly believe that. I do. I believe it because I have no anger. I have no, and that's what with Mackie being able to have no anger with him, she's not carrying that anymore. She's not adding that to that backpack full of shit on her back that she's going to carry for the next 40, 50, 60 years. So my point is that if we can interrupt that pattern of her holding on to it and making him wrong, and then having all of those filters and then throwing that shit in the backpack and carrying it around with her so that each time something happens, it just keeps adding to it. And then we never keep moving forward. We keep stuck where we're at. You
Mm.
got her to see that. And to me, hopefully, we're people listening will get to see that as well so that they can stop that. They can interrupt that pattern, that they can stop that, repetitive shitbag that they carry because we all have it. But when you get to unpack that and really see it and really see it for what it really was, the event that happened, not the story that you created around it, that's where the power is. And I love that
Well,
you
and we
shared that
have
today. And I love that this came up today. And I know that it came up for me for specific reasons because my mind is just going right now. And I thank you for that because we don't, you know, a lot of people we do have a rhyme and a reason to our podcast, but when something comes up for us that we feel called to talk about, we do it because we know that other people need to hear this too.
well, and it's the y- anybody who knows me knows I love sharing stories and I
Yeah.
love connecting with people through storytelling. And my kids sometimes get a little pissed off. We have lots of conversations about this. They're like, our life is like your podcast, you know? But at the same time, I've had the conversation with them to say, there's power in sharing. And when we
Mhm.
share our life experiences and how we've overcome,
Yeah.
we give a gift to people that keeps on giving. And this is what I truly believe is my purpose in the world. My purpose, and I believe all of our purpose, is to share. There's a lot of people that go through a lot of things and they're sharing and overcoming their challenges. When they share with somebody else, people are like, oh my gosh, that's me right now. That's what I'm going through. And I do believe that when we do share, we change people's lives and we don't
Mhm.
know who, but we trust that we're fixing some past karma or some past stuff
Yep. Yep.
through just going through it, going through the emotions, going through the
A-
feelings,
And if one person who's
and
alone
reframing.
Yeah, and if one person who's alone hears this and realizes that they're not alone because they've had the similar experience or the same experience, that's what we're here for. Is so that you know
Yeah.
that you're never alone. There's always somebody out there going through something similar or been there and sharing what I always tell my grandchildren, sharing is caring. And it starts at a young age. So if you can share and learn to share then, and as you grow, you share, it is powerful.
Mm, yeah. I mean, life is a journey, um, not a destination.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, where are we running to? We're running to death, really. That's the destination. The destination is death, but we don't
Yeah.
know when that's coming.
When?
But it's like if we can enjoy the journey
Mhm.
and we can just see that we're in a movie. This is the movie of our life. And we're actually um I mean I want to say we're the directors, but we get to shape our reality and how we see it. And
Yeah.
if we can see life as a continual process of learning and releasing, that's pretty empowering because it
Mhm.
does help you be unstoppable. If every person that comes into your awareness, good, bad, whatever, if you can see it as a lesson and not a personal dig and not a personal jab, and they didn't, you know, they had a job to do, and their job was to help you, teach you something.
Mhm.
And if you could
Yeah.
see that they are put on your path, even if it felt really awful and even if it felt negative and felt traumatic, there's something in you that you needed that experience to bring out something else.
Mhm.
Maybe advocacy, maybe leadership, maybe empathy, maybe resilience. And if you didn't have that trauma, that person come into your life and do whatever, or the situation to come into your life and happen, there's other parts of you that would not be opened up.
Yeah.
And that, for me, is a superpower. when you
Mhm.
can reframe every aspect of life to see the blessing,
Yeah.
nothing can rob you of your joy and happiness. Like, I
It
was
didn't
excited
happen.
when that happened. Yeah, when that
Mhm.
happened yesterday, I was like, "Yes! You're expanding!" She was like, "Well, you're crazy. I'm crying right now and you're celebrating." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not celebrating that you're sad right now. You gotta go through
Yeah.
those feelings, that pain. But this is such a beautiful, beautiful thing to happen. Like, let's embrace these things."
I
Now,
guess
all of a sudden, there's a
yes, and that's it. It didn't happen to you, it happened for you. It didn't happen to you, it happened for you to expand, for you
and
to learn.
I would even take it one step further and say, um, like, it happened to bring out your essence, that
Mhm.
true who you
Yeah.
are at your deepest, that was allowing your essence to shine through.
Mhm.
So not even happening to you or for you, but as a like mirror of
Mhm.
something that you get to expand and grow into,
Yeah.
which is like deep, deep spiritual
Mhm.
stuff, like
Yeah.
but it's what we call, and we'll do another one about fourth level responsibility. I am the source and creator of my reality. I sourced it to happen for my essence to come through.
Yep.
Not that we
Yep.
caused it to happen.
Nope.
I need to fix this correction. So I'm going to source this. I'm going to ask unconsciously for God, source creator, to help expand me. Here you go.
Yep.
Here
Yep.
you go. This is an expansion opportunity. And we don't operate life through this filter, through this lens. But if we can, if this one podcast, I mean, I do believe that this is a powerful, powerful distinction. If you can practice operating life through that lens,
Mhm.
every social media post that you see where you want to react and you want to, um, you know,
Yeah.
jump down somebody's throat, and it's like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, this is an expansion process.
Yeah.
So many things. I mean, we could go off on a tangent
Oh,
on this.
yeah.
Um,
And I would love to. I think that
this
we
is
could do
definitely an
actually another one. Like, we're going to record some more. Um, and I think we should keep moving on this. I think that this should be a part 2 because there is so much more that we could share about this. And when you said the fourth level responsibility, I think that that is so essential for people to hear. But I really want people to understand that if we get to share with you one thing that helps you realize that you're not alone, and we can help you and we can, support you through what you're going through, we're here. That's what we're here for. We love doing this podcast for you and with you. And please like and subscribe. And if you want us to talk about anything in particular, reach out to either Tina or I and ask us, because we would love to share. And if you'd like to be on our podcast, let us know. We would love to have you. And on that note, thank you so much. And we will see you again for more of this discussion in our next episode. Thanks, everyone. Well, friends, that is the end of our episode today. If you love this episode, hit the subscribe button so you never miss another episode. And please share us with your friends and tag us on your socials at The Art of Being Unstoppable. So for today, have yourself a beautiful day and let's be unstoppable together. See you next time.